Good evening, Westwark High School. Welcome back. We have certainly missed you over the past 6 months, and we're really excited to get you back in school and back in front of your computer so we can reconnect with you. I'm Mrs. Hassell, and I'm the principal of Westwark High School.
The guy coming out of the apple, that's me, Mr. Green. I'm the assistant principal.
And I'm Mr. Alves, your dean of students, welcoming you back to school.
All right, so we're going to hop right into all the details of how you're going to attend Westwark High School, either in person or digitally in the next school year. And we're going to hop right into starting with schedules. So what day do you go to school? All students will participate in distance learning on Mondays. The school building will be closed for deep cleaning on Mondays. That means that no students or teachers or staff members will be in the building at all on Mondays. That also goes for Career Center kids. Families can access the day that their student attends school through the Aspen Family Portal. It's essential that you have that family portal up and running, and you're going to be able to see a report that'll tell you if you're listed as day A, day B, or distance learning. At this time, those are choices that are set in stone, and if you wish to change, we'll take those recommendations, put them on a wait list for now, and our guidance counselors will be working on making those changes. Classes will be kept in order to allow social distance sizes to remain safe. So there's always going to be less than 15 students in a classroom at once. In most cases, the number of students will be far less than 15. So what is the first day of school and what does that look like? September 14th is a full distance learning day for all, and this will be an opportunity to get to know teachers and administration members virtually. So your teachers are going to connect to you via your school email accounts, and they're going to start to work through introductions, expectations, and what that looks like. For our day A in-person students, that will your first in-person day will be September 15th, and for our day B students, your first in-person day is going to be September 16th. Our hybrid schedule, which is the schedule that we're working with now, has all 7 periods in a day, every single day. And the first 11 minutes of every first period of the day, which will be period 1, will be extended by 11 minutes to ensure that we have time to work through safety measures at that time. All classes are right around 40 minutes. And our long period block will have a little extra time in it. We're going to get more to that in a little bit. So the periods go 1, 2, 3, 7, 4, 5, 6. Every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We are eliminating the A through G days at this time. We've also increased our passing time for 5 minutes to allow some staggered entrances and exits from classes if we need to. And that long period block is going to still have our 4 lunches in it. So every day will be the same. 1, 2, 3, 7, 4, 5, 6. All right, take it away.
Yes, Warwick Career Center students, the Career Center is open. You have a choice at the Career Center to do it virtually or to attend in person. Your classes here at West Warwick will all be virtually. You could either do them from home or we would have you do them here in the Media Center.
All right. Here's the RIDES 2021 school year. It could be updated at any moment per Rhode Island Department of Ed and our governor. I'm going to send out all these slides for you all, so you can click right there to get that calendar live for you. Any day that you see on that calendar that has that PD day, that means that students are still expected to go to school, but that they're just going to have asynchronous learning days for students, which means students will do different things at different times based on what their teachers expect. The add drop procedures for your schedules. So students, you can now go on Aspen to check out your schedules, and I know a lot of you have because I've heard from you. But what I need you to do is to have some patience here and to really look closely on the 5 criteria for our add drop procedures. And if you are not meeting those 5 criterion, then you will not be changing classes at this time. I want to also note that there will be no scheduling appointments at this time until at least Monday of next week. So you're going to be patient with your guidance counselors as they figure out all of the schedule changes that may have, if they qualify the add drop criteria. There's your guidance counselor names for you to take a peek at if you're new to the building. So what will your learning look like? All of our students at West Warwick High School are expected to be following their school day schedule. So school is in session at 7:30 a.m. You should be in your seat and ready to learn at 7:30 a.m., just like any other school year. And our day ends at 1:45 every day. So students are expected to participate in school during those hours and follow their period by period schedule. This is every day. This is every period. This is every scenario. Day A kids, day B kids, day B kids when they're home, distance learning kids, career center kids. Every scenario, school starts at 7:30, ends at 1:45. This is going to mean that you're going to have to rework work schedules if you were planning on being a distance learning student and having a shift that starts at noontime. School is in session from 7:30 to 1:45, and that's how we expect things to, how learning is expected to take place. There is going to be some times that we're going to need to really focus on flexibility and leniency. And if your family has a personal scenario where you need some assistance, you're helping peers or family members, then you're going to need to contact your guidance counselor or Mrs. Hassell, and we can try to help you up with a support plan. Other than that, school's in session as always. So the weekly schedule is going to be a little bit different than years past. Monday will be distance learning for all students. So that asynchronous work happens during Mondays. Asynchronous is a word that was new to me just a little, 6 months ago. But what it really means is that teachers will provide a schedule for assignment completion, additional supports, maybe some meeting times to connect to students, but it will be up to the teacher. And then that's all on Monday. On Tuesday through Friday, our formal delivery of instruction will take place for all of our classes, where you're expected, to participate in however the teacher requires, whether that be a Google Meet, whether that be engaging in Google Classroom, whether that means that you're watching a pre-recorded virtual lesson. That'll depend on the teacher and the class and the day of the week. Your teachers are going to lead that. So all students will be utilizing their Chromebook and their school-issued emails. This is going to be key for our success because teachers are going to be emailing you through your school emails. That's how our Google Classrooms will be set up. So you have to make sure that email is up and running. When your group is at home, you're still expected to be following your schedule. So what will teaching look like for our teachers? Some West Warwick teachers will be instructing from their classroom here at West Warwick High School, and they're going to teach students on their roster that are distance learning students and also in-person students. Some West Warwick High School teachers will be instructing from their home, and they'll teach to their distance learning students and their in-person students. The in-person students who have distance learning teachers will have a supervisor in the room that will be another teacher in our school who will be supervising the room while the distance learning teacher is supporting the kids' education in that classroom. All West Warwick High School teachers will have a Google Classroom, and this is the platform across the board for distance learning students, for in-person students, and for the students who are in person but home on the opposite days. So families who choose distance learning, and we're going to go through on the slides that I give you, there's going to be some specific expectations, but all of you are distance learning at one point or another. So it'll be important to follow those expectations. So students who choose to distance learn will remain home all of the days, and in-person starts for group A on the 15th and so on. The distance learning students will be designated in Aspen, and attendance will take place each period. So you're going to be listening and waiting for your teachers to decide what attendance will look like in your class. So teachers will be able to, will clearly give expectations to know that you're engaging with them in their class. So, Mr. Alves, expectations for students when participating from home.
Whether in school or at home, the SAFE, Schools Are for Education, stands in effect. So you're expected to do what you would do whether in person or online. In-person protocols for students. To attend school, you must follow these mandatory items. Complete daily Aspen attestation form, which will be discussed a little bit later. You must, and I repeat, must wear a mask at all times. It is a condition of admission for the federal and state government. You arrive no earlier than 7:15 a.m. All these items are non-negotiable.
And while we're on the mask thing, Mr. Alves, I don't know if you can see me on here, but masks are to be worn behind the ears and up above the nose and tight here. So this is not an appropriate way to wear a mask, and neither is this or this. It needs to be covering all the way fully on your nose like that. In your slides will also be information surrounding acceptable masks. There can be no bandanas and also no gaiters in school. You need to have a clean cloth mask. Mr. Green's going to get into that in a little bit, but I wanted to make sure you were aware of the fit of the mask. So how to complete a daily attestation form in Aspen. You all need to have your Aspen account for your family account up and running. In order to choose distance learning or hybrid model, you need to have your family account activated and ready to go. And the same way that you've used for transportation and to pick distance learning or in person is how you're going to do your daily attestation form. Every day that you are in school, in order to enter the building, your form needs to be completed. So when you're on your family pages account, you'll go to make sure that the top tab says pages. And then in the right-hand side, you'll click Initiate, and then you will click 2020-21 COVID screening update. You're going to click that, and you are going to answer the questions through the attestation, and be sure to click Finish. You're going to complete this before 7 a.m. each day, and we will be checking and noting and then sending out additional bright arrow messages after 7 a.m. if the forms are not completed. This will assist us in ensuring that everybody is safe and that all families are completing the forms daily.
That's me?
Yep.
Hello. So, per the governor's order, all students and staff must wear a mask when in school or on the bus. So, as Ms. Hassell said, gaiters, bandanas are not acceptable. It must be a mask that covers the nose and underneath the mouth area. Ideally, a 3-ply cloth mask is acceptable. And like any item of clothing, it has to be appropriate. So with all the different masks out there, there might be some that we would deem inappropriate for school. And if that's the case, it's not negotiable. Ms. Hassell and every one of your teachers will have some masks that are approved, and we'll swap that out, and then you go about your day. So just please keep that in mind. Face shields are not acceptable alone. So as if you watched the news earlier in the year, West Warwick did a remarkable job of helping the community with the face shields for emergency responders. However, that is not acceptable, that alone. You have to wear a mask as well.
All right.
So, student drop-off. So, if you're driving, okay, the parking lot is the usual space where, that's kind of the thing that we're keeping very similar. We just remind you, social distance yourself. I know you're going to see people you might not have seen in a while. Just please keep that, in mind that we're always trying to maintain that 6 feet of social distance as you walk into the building. Please, you cannot come in the building until 7:15 a.m. So if it's inclement weather, stay in your car if you're here early. We cannot let kids in until 7:15. Parents, if you're driving, the driving locations are the top complex parking lot in the students. Just the flow of traffic is pretty evident there. Once you get there, you drop your student off, ideally 7:15, and they walk down the path, much like they probably did in middle school, and they enter the building then. If you're taking the WCC, the Career Center bus, again, we'll have a location marked up at the complex. Those students, because we're trying to maintain stable groups among all our different groups, those students are going to have to remain at the parking lot. That bus will pick you up and drop you off from that area. Career Center kids, with the exception of students who that need to stay here at the media center, as Mr. Alves has mentioned, those all students are going to stay up at the complex, and we picked up and dropped off there. They will not enter the building. And then again, if you're taking the bus is at 7:15 drop off. The students are to remain on the bus until 7:15. The directive to all first student bus drivers is that's the plan. Students that remain on the bus, and until 7:15, they open the doors and they can come in. Okay. The bus time will be a little bit different as far as just the numbers on the bus are concerned. So, in order to avoid that congregating of kids, kids outside the building until 7:15 a.m. If there's a lot, you'll see clearly marked areas around the building where you'll have to stand until we open the doors. But to avoid that, I would suggest that you stay in your cars until 7:15. All right. When you walk into the building, you'll notice on the floors, the custodians have marked a clear path. The flow of traffic is one way throughout the whole building. That's again to keep us socially distanced and avoid congregating in the hallway. So please, you'll notice the arrows. That is something that does have a consequence. Obviously, if those want to swim upstream, so to speak, there's going to be consequences for that. So we really need to keep everyone safe, and everyone needs to take part in this plan in order for us to be successful. Again, the students who take the bus, bring some as the weather gets colder. Please just bring, those items with you. Mr. Alves will explain a little bit the locker situation in more slides to come. So the doors, everything is going to be very, very labeled. So the front entrance doors, the glass doors will be for entering the building only. The side doors will be for exiting. Okay, when you're exiting the main entrance. The classrooms, most of the classrooms that have two doors have an exit and enter sign. It goes with the flow of the traffic. So when you look down, they're labeled clearly, enter and exit. And then the doors will be open to assist in airflow. When you're in the building, in the classrooms, those doors will also be marked. So we're not crossing into, we're exiting exit doors or indoors and so forth. So it's really clearly labeled everywhere. The hallway, the stairwells, again, when you walk into the building, you're gonna go left, and you're gonna stay left throughout the whole building. Entering the CAF will only occur at the top of the stairwell. So all flow of traffic, even from the back area, will circle around the building up to the first floor by the auditorium, and then into the cafeteria. So it's all one-way traffic.
All right, Mr. Alves is up next.
Okay, we'll talk more about the hallways. They're used not to socialize, but to get from point A to point B, socially distancing as we do so. Again, so there should be no gathering. There's no congregating at the locker, and no socializing can take place during this time. There is no locker use. They will all be zip tied closed, so you will not have access. This will assist in additional time in the hallways and create more room and space in the hallways. So only bring to school what you need to. Headphones are encouraged as learning, but they're not to be worn in the hallways. You can only wear them in the classroom if, and only if, the teacher allows them. A little different this year with the bathrooms. Okay, bathroom usage, the hallway outside bathrooms will be monitored by a staff member. One student in at a time. Students are going to use a digital manner instead of a paper pass. 9th and 10th grade bathrooms, all right, will be the first floor bathrooms near the elevator. 11th and 12th grade bathrooms will be the two near the auditoriums. The bathrooms will be closed in the morning and during passing time. The digital hall pass, instead of paper passes, students will complete this quick form before and after they leave the classroom. This eliminates the handling of passes and easily tracks students around the building. The QR codes will be in every classroom, or every classroom door, and the form will be on the West Warwick High School website. Here's an example of what the digital hall pass will look like.
All right. Oh, you guys can't see it, huh? Here it is.
All right.
Like.
So again, here's some of the selections you must make. Okay, where you're going, your email address, first and last name will be filled out. All right, and it will be kept in a site, and myself, Phyllis, and the administration will be monitoring it. Breakfast, again, a little different, okay? Breakfast students can enter the building. They're the only ones that can enter at 7 a.m. if and only if they've completed the attestation form and the breakfast form. Sign up here. You can see there's a site where you're going to have to sign up every day, and those are the only students that will be allowed in. All right, the desks in the cafeteria will be numbered, and there'll be a system where you're going to get breakfast and eat at your particular desk before the 7:30 bell rings. So remember to sign up.
And it's a one-time only sign up. So if you sign up on, in the next few days, and we have your name there, we'll expect you for breakfast. This helps with numbers, with safety measures, so we can make sure that we're all in stable groups.
Mm-hmm. And to talk about the cafeteria, whether it be breakfast or lunch, is going to look a lot different. And it's not just here at West Warwick High School. My daughter over at Cranston West and everywhere else have to sit at desks in rows 6 feet apart. So you'll be eating in the cafeteria. The desks are facing one way towards the windows. And we also have a little bit of overflow that can be housed in the gymnasium with three per cafeteria table. All right, the lunches, you're going to come down, like Mr. Green said, down the stairs by the elevator. There'll be marked line to enter the lunch line, or you'll go right to your seat if you don't need to get in the lunch line 6 feet apart to get your lunch in a grab-and-go fashion. The media center, all right? Unfortunately, there will be no morning media center use. The Career Center students will use the media center during the school day to distance learn. School dismissal, all right? School dismissal, all right, was going to be done again, kind of like what we used to dismiss the cafeteria, kind of in sections. So the school will be dismissed by floors, one at a time, 3 minutes before the end of school, starting with the bus students and then working towards those who are driving home or walking home. Students will walk directly to the parking lot, following the arrows and exiting the side door. There will be no crossing over the front foyer. you're going to walk directly to the parking lot or to board your bus. If the buses are running late, students will then wait in a designated area, obviously with social distance markings. After school expectations. Okay, you're expected to safely leave the campus at 1:45, unless and only unless you have something specific and approved after school activity like sports. Students are encouraged to seek additional help from their teachers after school virtually if needed.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Alves. Mr. Green, on some safety.
So just to piggyback a minute, we all know what after school looks like in a normal year. That can't happen this year. It just can't. We can't have kids congregating in front in the foyer. You must leave the building. So, a lot of times there were ride situations. You need to make sure that those rides are picking you up at the complex at 1:45. You need to make arrangements. We can't have extra bodies in the areas for long periods of time. I know that was an issue last year, as it is every school and every year, but this year is a little different. So please, plan ahead so that you're getting picked up at 1:45 and exiting the campus. Thanks. Sorry. So safety protocols in an emergency. We revert right back to all the pre-COVID procedures. So that goes in effect for any fire drill, any kind of situation that we need to alert the Alves situation. All safety protocols apply. The social distancing, we would some good common sense with that. Masks should be on, but all pre-COVID procedures are then in effect in an emergency situation. High school athletics. So this is a press release from the Rhode Island Interscholastic League. So if you haven't heard, the following sports have been approved by the governor for team competition this fall with some safety modifications: boys and girls cross country, girls tennis, sideline cheer, boys and girls soccer. So those activities will be on and running in accordance with the governor's guidelines for high school sports. Unfortunately, football, girls volleyball, and unified volleyball have not been approved for competition this fall. The plan moving forward is to have those teams that aren't competing in the fall, the plan is to move them into March and kind of sandwich that season in between the winter and the spring. The spring season will be extended now, so there'll be a little more time. So it's not going to, the schedule will be a little shorter than what you were used to, but the plan moving forward is to put those sports, volleyball, football, unified volleyball, into a middle hybrid winter spring season. Health.
All right.
And
you're up.
That's me. I'm still going, right? So these factors to prevent COVID, and we've all done this. I mean, we're all pretty much professionals at this. Kids I've seen at work throughout the summer, you all wore your mask. I'm sure your bosses and managers told you to wash your hands and wear a mask. So we're kind of used to this right now. So just to repeat, we need to wear a mask, okay? And it shows that it does reduce the risk of spreading. The social distance is obviously 6 feet. There wasn't a store in Rhode Island or anywhere else that if you went to a counter, there were 6 feet markings everywhere. It's going to look like that in the cafeteria. So I know you can do this. We've done it, and we're just going to have to do it now at school. Washington, there's tons of sanitizing stations all throughout the building. So please use that as often as you can. And just try to keep your hands away from your eyes, nose, and mouth, because we've learned that the virus can't enter through those ways. And
up at the tippity top there, there's a little spot of regarding visitors.
Oh, visitors.
And at this time, there's no reason to have visitors in the building. If a parent comes to the door and needs to sign their student out, they'll show their ID through the glass. There'll be an area to accept papers, so that way there's no need to come into the building whatsoever. There'll be all new procedures. A lot of our meetings will be digital as well, virtual meetings. So visitors will be kept to a minimum.
And if I could just add, especially the first couple days when you haven't seen each other, essentially when we're talking about this space, that would mean there's no, handshaking, dapping, hugging, all that essentially during this COVID time is frowned upon. And we should, respect social distance. And I know it's awkward when you want to go up and give your buddy a handshake. You haven't seen him, or a hug. You haven't seen him in a while. But for the good of the order, we need to avoid that temptation.
We know this is hard, guys. And both Mr. Green and Mr. Alves just, really are explained so well that this is what we expect of you. We've been doing this, but it's going to be hard when we're all wanting to just give each other that handshake or the dap or the hug. So we'll all be doing it together.
So the COVID daily attestation, screening tool. Parents, yeah, right, I beat that up every time. So parents must complete a daily form in Aspen. We ask you all to do this, complete this before 7. Again, it's through the family portal. You cannot do this. The students cannot do this on their own Aspen site. It has to be done on the family portal. You would go to initialize, and then what you see is the drop-down menu, and then you'd hit the COVID screening tool, and then follow the prompts.
This is here twice for a reason. This is key. We know you can wear the masks. We've got all the faith in the world in masks, but the Aspen bit is a little bit harder than the masks, but it's here for a reason. So call, email if you need help and support in figuring this out. We're going to try to do a test run on Monday.
So just some guidelines from the Rhode Island Department of Health. Is a probable case of COVID-19 is defined by the presence of these symptoms. Any one of these symptoms present probable cause: cough, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, new loss of taste, new loss of smell. Any 2 of these symptoms present a probable case. So fever, chills, muscle, body aches, headaches, sore throat, fatigue, congestion on a nose, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea.
So one thing we learned today from our COVID health coordinator, Mrs. Handy, is that you might always wake up with a cough. You might have a cough. You might have asthma. It might be something chronic. Everybody who knows you have a cough. That's going to be different than waking up or having in the middle of the day a new cough. I know I am not a cougher unless I'm talking a lot, and then everyone wants me to stop talking anyways. But it would have to be a new cough for that. And if you have any of these symptoms, you're staying home. If you have any of these symptoms in school, you're going to be asked to go to the nurse. The nurse is going to diagnose, and then she's going to send you off to the isolation room, which we'll talk about in a second. Sorry for jumping all over your slides, Mr. Green.
No. Okay. Is this still me?
Yep.
Okay. So if you're not feeling well or have any of the following symptoms, please stay home. A fever of over 100.4, or chills, because the chills is your body's way of telling you something's coming. So because your temperature dropped down because your body's trying to fight off the infection. That cough, shortness of breath, any of these symptoms, please stay home. Even if it's for a day and you feel fine, then you're good. But if you don't feel well, we ask you to stay home. So if a student is displaying some of the symptoms, again, please stay home. You can still participate. You'd call the main office, let them know that you're not coming in. And then you're not going to miss any instruction or content, because you can just open your Chromebook, log into the classroom, and you're good. So you're not going to miss anything by staying home if you're sick. All right. Again, the phone number is there, so please call the main office and let us know that you'll be absent. If a student is required to quarantine per Rhode Island Department of Health, a parent should call the high school office and should participate in their learning from home. The student will not be marked absent.
So our attendance policy is going to be entirely different, with the knowledge that students might be in and out of school because they're not feeling well, because they have asymptomatic, if they have probable cause symptoms, or they might have non-probable cause symptoms and are staying home to just be cautious, or because they were at a family party and then have been asked to quarantine by the Rhode Island Department of Health. So open, clear communication is going to be key with you all at home so that we're aware, and we'll do the same for you. It's basically what we just said. So testing, Mr. Green.
Okay. So, when is a test required? A cough, shortness of breath, any of those symptoms, you would have to, is it required? Yes. Again, yes, if 2 or more of these symptoms are present. So if you look at the bottom part of that graph, you can see that, those fever, chills, any combination of 2 or more, you're going to have to get tested. If it's only 1, you don't necessarily have to get tested.
So if you wake up with a sore throat and everything else is fine, for an abundance of caution, you're going to stay home. You're going to call the office. You're going to tell the office, I'm staying home today because I woke up with a sore throat. I have no other symptoms. You're going to wait throughout the day. If no other symptoms occur, then you're most likely good to go back to school if your sore throat subsides. If you pick up an additional symptom like sore throat and chills, you're going to want to get tested. And you cannot come to school if you have any of the green section or 2 or more of the yellow section.
Like in my age, I get up every morning, I'm sore and my body hurts. Right, Mr. House?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And then after a while, you get loose and you feel fine. So
you got to go back to that baseline, Mr. Alves and Mr. Green. That baseline is how you wake up every day. It's what your body normally is.
It's a good thing that losing hair isn't on there. I'd have to.
All right.
So if you feel sick during the day, the teacher will call the nurse and let them know that you're on the way to the nurse. The student will report directly to the nurse's office, again, always in a mask. The nurse will assess the student. If you're displaying probable case symptoms, someone's going to be asked to pick you up within an hour of seeing the nurse. And then we will use the isolation room, which is around we'll explain it. It's a room that there was a department head office for a while there. So we just kind of converted that. It's near an exit. So you don't have to walk by the school again. Your parents can pick you up on the side of the building. And then that's while you wait for your ride. Parents, be advised that they should seek medical advice for the student within 48 hours and schedule a COVID test as needed. If your child goes home because they're presenting with these probable case symptoms, they have to show medical documentation indicating a negative test before they return to school. And our nurse, as well as everyone else in the district, will be following the Rhode Island Department of Health protocols.
Fantastic, Mr. Green. The only thing I want to reiterate from what you just said is that there's a 1-hour time frame. So from when you are displaying probable case symptoms to when a student needs to be picked up from school. That student needs to be picked up within the hour. The student cannot stay in our building longer than an hour with those probable case symptoms. So you're going to have to be a little bit closer answering your phones, looking at your text messages from your students to be sure that you can come pick up those students. I know for me, with my school-age children, I'm going to just, monitor my phone a little bit better, maybe put my ringer on instead of have it on silent. So that way I can keep checking to make sure that nobody needs me for my children. We recommend you do the same.
And it's a tough, a big piece of that for parents is that medical documentation indicating a negative test will be required before returning. So obviously if Mike Green goes home because he's showing a probable case symptoms, and I go home, I can't go back until I get that test that says it's negative. So, and to avoid an uncomfortable conversation, and avoid a waste of your time to come back to the school to pick up your child, please make sure that documentation is done before you send your child back to school.
Exactly. Thank you, Mr. Green. So cleaning the building. Standardly, we clean our buildings, but our custodians will be increasing responsibilities to ensure that we are cleaning high touch points, restrooms, common areas throughout the school day. And our custodial staff will be cleaning all spaces after school is dismissed. And that Monday will be used to deep clean. Every night, we're using an electrostatic cleaning system that is used in places like, say, Macy's or the movie theaters. And it's high technology that envelopes all areas 360 degrees. So it sprays a trash can and covers the complete trash can with just a quick spray. High touch areas, this will be in your presentation, are anything you can possibly think of, from toilet surfaces to keyboards to doorknobs. And all our custodial staff is top-notch, amazing parts of our school community, and they're making sure to keep us extra safe these days. We want to remind you of supports for families. This is difficult. Even having this meeting right now where your 3 administrators are sitting in their separate rooms where normally we'd be in front of you, we bring that energy and that fun, and we're together, and we're one big wizard family. So I know how hard this is, but we can do hard things, and we will do hard things together. And we want to make sure that you have the supports that you need. If anything comes up for your child's mental health, or students at home, if anything comes up with your mental health, this is going to be a quick and fast 1-800 number that's going to get you some services as soon as you need them. Also, I want to be sure that you know our hierarchy of our mental health staff and our guidance counselors in our building, including Miss Main and Miss Pierce, Miss Dwyer, our school psychologist, Miss Divers, our West Bay social worker, and our brand new student assistance counselor that helps with coping skills, trauma-informed care, and substance abuse, Miss Bueno. So you can also always reach out to your guidance counselors. As we get back into the swing of things, you're going to hear from our social workers who are going to talk about how you can access them during the school day, whether you're in digital learning or in-person learning. Thank you very, very much for your partnership and for your support through all of this. I want to remind you to check our social media accounts at WWHS Wizard Pride for updates. Our high school website is going to be a really great source of information for you for any newsletters, updates. Continue to check your email and always reach out if you have any questions. The slides that accompany this presentation will be emailed directly to you with the link for this presentation, so you'll have them, including some additional slides and resources for you. Our reopening plans will be in the slides, as well as all specific links that are COVID-related supports for you all. Thank you very much, and let's have a great school year together.
See you soon.
See you soon, kids.